I think that originally Book One of the Republic was a freestanding Platonic dialogue. That it is about the right length. It has the right structure. It is very complete in itself. And let's just read it that way. We won't read any more of the Republic. I think that what happened is that Plato thought there was a lot more to be said in response to Thrasymachus. And so in Book Two, he starts over and takes a longer route to refuting Thrasymachus, Socrates refuting Thrasymachus, that takes us into pretty much every region of philosophy, political philosophy, philosophy of education, metaphysics, especially. So it's a very long road. It would take weeks and weeks to really read the Republic in a class, and I've done it. But this is its own freestanding thing, and we do get attempts on the part of Socrates to refute Thrasymachus, but what exactly he's refuting too is not always clear. Thrasymachus has made two assertions. One is that justice is the advantage of the stronger, or justice is the interest of the stronger in our translation, and the other is that it's better to be unjust than to be just, which are two related claims, but they're two distinct claims. I don't think Socrates takes the first one very seriously. That is, his idea is that if justice is the art of ruling, then there's no legitimate art of ruling that isn't for the benefit of the ruled. That is, if you think of any skill or knowledge, for anything from medicine to sheep herding, the skill is not meant, the doing of the skill is not meant to directly benefit the one who has the skill, but the one for whom the skill is to whom the skill is directed. That is, a doctor makes money, but that's incidental to healing the sick. A shepherd makes money, but that's incidental to taking care of the sheep. If there is a skill called justice, it must be not in the interest of the strong, but in the interest of the weak, the one over whom the strong rules. I think he's more concerned with refuting the idea that justice is the foolish choice, or that justice is the wrong choice. That if you really want to be happy and fulfilled in life, you should be unjust. And he takes a couple of stabs at undermining that idea. One is a rather vague argument about outdoing. That is, that the just person will not try to outdo anybody but the unjust person, whereas the unjust person will try to outdo everybody. And what Socrates thinks is that is telling. That is an indication that, in fact, the just person has knowledge and wisdom, and the unjust person doesn't. That is, if you have knowledge and wisdom, you're not trying to outdo other people who have knowledge and wisdom. If you know medicine, you're not trying to outdo the other people who know medicine. Is the idea. So it's an indication that justice is actually virtue and wisdom, unlike the Thrasymachus's idea. He has other ways of trying to get at it. Another is that justice is absolutely necessary, that even the unjust need to be just amongst themselves. And this leads to a pretty important Platonic or Socratic idea, and that is that just as there needs to be honor among thieves in order for the thieves to work together, there has to be honor within, and justice and cooperation within a person for them to be happy. And that is what gets expanded in the rest of the Republic. The idea that the unjust person is at war within themselves, whereas the just person is in harmony within themselves. Finally, the idea of the excellence, the proper excellence, that the assertion that it's clear that justice is the one of the proper excellences of a human being. That is, if you are living an unjust life, you are failing to realize your own possibilities for excellence. Just as a horse can be excellent by doing the kind of things a horse does well, and a work of art can be excellent by being or doing the things that a work of art does well, a human being can be excellent by doing its own proper virtue, its own proper excellence. And justice having to do with wisdom and knowledge is that. So he does give reasons uh, for thinking that Thrasymachus is wrong, and it couldn't be more serious, really, because what it comes down to between Thrasymachus and Socrates are two different notions of how you should live your life. Two different notions of what makes you happy, and this is how book one ends um, in an inconclusive way. And the result of the whole discussion has been, Socrates says, that I know nothing at all. For I know not what justice is, and therefore I am not likely to know whether it is or is not a virtue, nor can I say whether the just man is happy or unhappy, which is typical Socratic honesty. He certainly wants to argue that the just man is truly happy, and that being unjust will make you fundamentally unhappy. But until you find out what justice is, which is not yet defined, you can never really be sure. It's the same problem that he points out in the Meno about whether virtue is teachable. You have to know what virtue is. So the thing ends inconclusively, but certainly Socrates has done his best, let's say on hypothesis, to try to refute the idea that the unjust life is better than the just life.